Oh My Dog with Jack D and Sean Walsh.
Hello, Happy New Year, and welcome to a very special Best of Oh My Dog episode.
Yes, we're still on holiday, basically, so we've given Sara the task of making an episode we don't really have to do much for.
And we've had such fantastic guests on, it's hard to only pick a few. But coming up, we've got Niall Harbison and Pete Wicks, two heroes in the world of dog rescuing.
Bill Bailey's legendary appearance when he joined us at Goodwoof for the live show.
I've got the delightful Martin Clunes.
Yes, and Chesney Hawkes enthralled us with his epic LA rescue story.
Also the wonderful Monica Dolan and her husky Velma.
So sit back and enjoy. I know we will. Pete, it's lovely to have you on. Let's just dive straight in. And why don't you tell us about your love of dogs?
I can only really begin with a sentence that I tell everyone, which is that I prefer dogs to people.
Right, yes, a very popular opinion on this show.
Absolutely prefer dogs to people. No offence to people, but I despise them.
None taken.
I've never met a bad dog.
Yes.
That guy, I just think they're angels on earth. I'm sure you've heard it a million times before, but I'm that guy that would rather spend time with dogs than anything else.
Right. Yeah. So were you had dogs in your upbringing and preferred them from that point onwards, or?
Yeah, I mean, I was a weird child. I'm going to be honest with you. Slightly dog-like. I didn't really do toys. I was obsessed with sticks. But I had Don't ask. Don't worry, I didn't play pets or anything. It's not like a weird, but I just really liked sticks. But I had a wooden dog with wheels. That I used to just drag around on a bit of string.
Right.
And, you know, I'm sure most kids sort of like hug teddy bears and that. I just used to hug a wooden dog. So I got my first rescue dog when I was about 10. And he was amazing. I was just obsessed with him. He was called Arnie, and the reason they called him Arnie is because he was thrown out of a moving car and
oh my lord!
Yeah, whoever had him before, but he actually went back to the property and they'd moved, so they called him Arnie, as in Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'll be back.
I'll be back.
Yeah, and he was just amazing. So yeah, I think that's really where it came from.
That's amazing. From that point on, so that's quite an early age, 10. Did you then have dogs in your life for the up until now?
Yeah, completely.
You just constantly been with dogs.
Yeah, because I'm so blessed to do a lot of the things that I do. Like I don't have any talent. I'm just a bit of a no-mark. But having dogs,
that's not true. I've seen your moves on Strictly. You've got talent.
You must be joking, mate. I've got about as much rhythm as a three-legged donkey. I thought I'd be out in week one. How I managed to get that right, I genuinely thought that at some point the public were just playing a bit of a joke on me. But yeah, the dogs have just always made life better, through good times, bad times, whatever it is. And I think the main reason that I love dogs is based on the fact that they don't care where you've been, they don't care what you look like, they just give you love unconditionally, and they're all so happy to see you. And I just love that. They just make me feel happy and safe.
And at the moment, you've got two French bull terriers, is that right?
You've got two French bulldogs, and they are both rescues, Eric and Peggy.
Lovely.
And I'm just obsessed with them both. I really am. I hate when people kind of, call dogs pets. They're part of my family. You know what I mean? I just adore them both. The French bulldog I had before, unfortunately, he had a heart murmur from birth, and he had a heart attack when he was like 3.5. It was really sad. So
that's tough.
Yeah, it was awful. And Eric, actually, I had Eric at the time, and Eric was still a puppy, and it was kind of the middle of the night, and Eric woke me up, and Ernest was having a heart attack in the bathroom. We rushed him to the vets, and he didn't make it. And then me and Eric we slept in the bathroom for 3 weeks because Eric wouldn't leave the bathroom. It was.
Oh my God, that's heartbreaking.
And that's kind of how I ended up with Peggy. Is that Eric just really missed having another dog. Eric is needy. Let's say that. But Eric actually came from Dogs Trust, which is where I've just done this kind of new show, and it was a real full circle moment. because 9 years ago I got him, and then going back there to be able to kind of film for Dog's Sake was it was a bit of a full circle moment.
How did he end up at Dogs Trust? What was his history? Do you know?
Eric was smuggled in. 'Cause it was kind of during that time where these kind of designer breeds like French bulldogs and like Pomeranians and Dachshunds, everyone was just desperate to have them sort of dogs. So there was a big problem with puppy smuggling and all that sort of stuff. And he was smuggled in with his brother and sister in a box and then kind of left in a lorry. And,
oh my Lord!
The sister didn't survive, and him and his brother did. But he had terrible skin conditions and all sorts of things. And then Peggy had just the worst upbringing. She's got one eye. And she was really badly mistreated, and I won't go into gory details, but they found her wandering around with her eye hanging out and all sorts of stuff.
Oh my, for goodness sake!
So and she's incredibly dog reactive, but so we didn't know if I'd be able to take her, but Eric is so pathetic that she just doesn't bother. So he's basically a loaf of bread with legs. He's amazing. He's the most submissive dog in the world, and she's just an angel. She loves people and whatnot, and they're just a perfect little balance of kind of good cop, bad cop. And obviously I've got rescue dogs and I do a lot of work on the rescue side of stuff, but that's not anything against the reputable breeders that are there, because if you've got a specific dog in mind that kind of suits what you want, then absolutely just have to be so careful about where you get them from, because it can, what ensues is a lot of heartache.
Yeah. I mean, taking us to the even darker area of that, I know you've been very involved in a campaign in South Korea. Yeah. Tell us about that, Pete.
Wow.
And you've got a program out there, I know, on...
Yes, for Dog's Sake. Dog's Sake. On UNW.
Yeah, UNW.
Can I just let you know, Pete? I was crying from 7 minutes in.
Yeah.
And I was texting. I paused it. No, I know. I was keeping it together. But I paused it and texted Jack and Sean and said, I'm bawling here. Because it was Mel who was the pregnant dog that was brought in. And that was so harrowing and heartbreaking. But what's so lovely about the show is you're experiencing it all too. So
absolutely,
we're watching it as viewers and you're there and you're visibly moved by everything that's happening around you as well. It's just amazing.
It's listening to you talk now and just hearing how passionate you are. You are the perfect person for this show. I saw the first episode. It's absolutely amazing. To our listeners, go and watch it for Dog's Sake on UNW. I mean, Sara says there it took her 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Genuinely, I watched it today, was in tears before the montage at the beginning had ended. And I thought, I don't know how I'm going to get through this. And I watch you on the show having to experience and witness these problems that you're doing such a great job of trying to sort and put to bed. And you're in bits as well. What I want to know is, how did you manage getting through this show? It was such an emotional battle for you.
Mate, we thankfully the edit was kind to me, because otherwise you just would have had hours worth of me crying uncontrollably.
That doesn't surprise me.
But it's similar to, I did some stuff in South Korea. I went to dog meat farms in South Korea with an amazing charity called Humane Society to rescue. We took 174 dogs out of a dog meat farm, and
extortionate.
Around 160 went over to America, and then we brought some back here, and I fostered a couple. And these dogs are dogs that have never been, a mixture of dogs that have never been in homes, never seen anything other than kind of living their life in kind of 2-foot mesh cages with no flooring. They've just seen the worst of humanity. And part of the reason that I went out there and part of the reason that I wanted to do for Dog's Sake is based on the fact that we all hate the idea of animal cruelty. Of course we do. I don't know anyone, and you'd be absolutely wrong if you were quite happy to see an animal being tortured or neglected or whatever else. But the problem is that people go, I don't want to see that. I can't see it. It's too upsetting. If you don't see it, you don't do anything about it. And that's kind of why I wanted to go out to Korea and see that. And it's one of the most horrific things I've ever experienced in my life. But similarly to this show, there were so many stories that we didn't air of dogs that had been neglected, abandoned, and it was so shut down that it's it's heartbreaking. It's genuinely heartbreaking. But what the guys at Dogs Trust, which is where I filmed it, and not just Dogs Trust, other charities and rehoming centres, the guys there, what they do and the process it takes in order to get some of these dogs rehabilitated to a point where they're able to be rehomed is nothing short of a miracle sometimes, because the trust that dogs still manage to find and love they still manage to find in us as humans, despite being treated so horrifically, is it's inspirational. It's outstanding. But it is tough. It's really tough.
Yeah,
you just have to kind of remember that you're kind of trying to make their lives better. But it's all about the dogs. Everything's always about the dogs, you know what I mean? And it was tough for me, but it's nothing in comparison to what the guys at these centres have to deal with day in, day out.
Yeah.
And more importantly, it's nothing in comparison to what the dogs have been through.
So, Niall, would you just give us a little synopsis of how you ended up rescuing dogs and doing amazing work in Thailand?
It's a long story, but the really short version is I used to work in the corporate world and I hated it. And I wanted to move somewhere a bit hotter because I was living in Manchester. And then I came over here, became an alcoholic, nearly drank myself to death, ended up in ICU, and then just found salvation in dogs. That's the very short version of it, basically.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
So you were really quite ill, and it feels like there was a sort of an epiphany for you with these dogs, where you realised that there was more to life. Perhaps, is that fair to say, than just drinking and self-interest?
Exactly that. Just I always used, like everybody, I used to think it was about mortgages and iPhones and whatever you're into yourself. But the dogs nearly dying had a big effect on me. That was the sort of eye opener, and I always loved dogs, but just that's how I got into the dogs at the start. It was just I always loved dogs, but the sort of mission of my life only started after nearly dying, basically.
Was there a certain moment, Niall, that this really hit you with dogs?
I mean, if you look at it from, in a romantic sense, I was on the hospital bed and I sort of said dogs is my calling, but of course it doesn't really work like it. Probably took about 6 months in terms of a process, and I fed one dog, and then it was 2 dogs and 4 dogs, and it did evolve very quickly, but it's not like it is in the movies where you just sort of wake up and it happens. I mean, I nearly drank myself to death, so I was quite sick and like a mental breakdown, really. So it took a while to sort that out, clear that fog.
Yeah. Why are there so many dogs needing help in Thailand, or are there just similar amounts of dogs in any country you go to, do you think?
No, I think if any of you guys or your listeners have been out here, like there's 8 to 10 million street dogs in Thailand, which is,
My
massive.
God.
And it's an overpopulation, not managed issue rather than cruelty. Or like Thai people are no more cruel than Europeans or Americans. It's just there's too many dogs, really, and they suffer horrendously all across Asia, actually.
Yeah, and then you had your second book, Tina? Yeah. So who is Tina? Tell us a little bit about that, because it looks like a great book. Tell us about Tina.
Yeah, I mean, you come across a lot of characters and a lot of very sorry dogs, but Tina was very unusual. She was a golden retriever, and she was I found her on a chain, and if you see a photo of her, I can never describe it in as many words, but she was just broken. She'd been used for breeding. She was living in her own mess, and I rescued her, and she only lasted for 6 months, but we got her back to full health, first of all, and she was amazing, like a real... I think everybody has maybe a soul dog, or like you have a soul person or whatever.
So
I think she was a soul dog, and then we got the bad news she was going to die, but she lived her life unbelievably, and we've built a hospital in her honor, and we sterilize actually 7,000 dogs every month.
Yeah,
a lot of it in her memory.
Yeah, it's a very important part of the program that you run out there, it seems, is to sterilize the dogs so that they don't, I suppose partly they don't get used for breeding. Is that right? And partly don't just reproduce endlessly and just keep coming up with more dogs that need help.
Yeah, otherwise it's a game of like whack-a-mole, you're just going around trying to scoop up thick dogs, and you're never gonna fix the problem. So it's not very sexy or exciting for most people. You know, sterilising is, people want to see a puppy makeover or a dramatic rescue.
Sure.
But the sterilising is what we do, is the sort of the puppy, the rescues kind of get people interested, but the real work we do is the sterilising.
Yeah. So the way we always end our interviews, Niall, is to ask this one question: do you let any of the dogs, kiss you on the mouth?
Absolutely. Like Hank, the one I've got at the moment, is a big, I guess he's a pit bull. He just was rescued from a terrible situation. He just like slabbers up and down my mouth with his huge tongue. So it's like an assault, a physical assault on my face when he licks me. So it's, yeah.
That's really good to hear. I wasn't sure which way that was going to go, and I'm slightly pleased that you answered it like that. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you also really for all the work you do on behalf of all those dogs that you're helping. It's incredible.
Yes, thank you very much.
And we will put a link on our webpage so that people can come along to your talk and buy your books and even donate if they feel that's what they'd like to do.
And Niall, just quickly, what's your Instagram handle that people can follow you on?
Oh, it's just my name, Niall. Oh God, Harbison, Harbison. Yeah,
okay,
I'm easy enough to find online.
Yeah,
fantastic.
We'll do.
Right, thank you
we'll
so
do
much.
that.
Well done on your podcast, guys. Anybody talking about dogs gets my vote.
Oh, that's good. Thank you, Niall. Thanks for joining us.
Bless you. Cheers.
All right, cheers.
Hello, Monica.
Hello, Jack. Hello, Sean. How are we?
Oh, it's great to have you here. Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
Thank you.
We're very excited to have you here. We know that you can tell us about Velma, your Siberian Husky. What's the story there?
Yeah. Well, I'm particularly excited to be on this podcast because I'm so boring about my dog generally that it's probably the one podcast where I can be guaranteed to be able to keep thinking of something to say. So Velma is 3.5 years old. Mm-hmm. I've had her since 2022, and I had her from a puppy. Awesome. And yeah, she's very exciting. She's the love of my life, and she's quite a crowd pleaser. She sort of thinks she's Elizabeth Taylor, and quite. I sort of think it would be. I would really like to see life through Velma's eyes, or live life through Velma's eyes, because she just goes out and thinks that everybody loves her, and
adorable.
That everyone's approachable.
You're the first guest we've had who has a Siberian Husky. Oh. So why did you choose? I mean, they're amazing dogs anyway. I always think they must be the closest dogs related to wolves, because I always think they look so like wolves.
Yeah.
Why did you go with this?
You'd think that. I've actually got a picture of a Siberian Husky with the wolf, and the wolf is quite a lot larger, and the Siberian Husky looks a bit frightened, actually. Looks quite uncomfortable, actually. The reason that I went with the Siberian Husky, I've wanted one all my life. So when I was very young, we lived opposite a couple who had a male and female husky, and I don't know if they were actual breeders, but their huskies had puppies. And I think I was only about 4, so probably someone should have called social services, because I was there all the time. And really, really fell in love with these dogs, and they ended up, I think, keeping 2, Igor and Ilyich. They were called, the mum and dad were called Boris and Tasha. Right. And I hung out all the time with the puppies, and Igor in particular. And then when Carol and David went back to Canada, they came over to my mum's house one day and said, would we like to keep Igor? I know. And I overheard this. I had my pocket money upstairs. I was crying. I ran downstairs to Carol with my pocket money, which I now know definitely couldn't have afforded a Siberian Husky, and said, please, please, please. And my mum said no. And then cut to doing a play in Chichester 2022. Yeah. And I was with a friend of mine, Cairo, who's a really good friend of mine, and she sort of talked me through and said, I don't know why I was thinking about a dog again, but she talked me through, and she said, well, look, Dad was away a lot. Your mum had 4 kids. She was working full time. Your granny was there, and your sister was afraid of dogs. So of course she wasn't gonna. And then then I sort of thought, oh yeah, maybe it wasn't about me. And and then basically I thought, yes, I definitely want a dog, and I wanted a Siberian Husky. And everyone tells you not to get a Siberian Husky for your first dog. I hadn't had a dog before.
Why is that?
Well, apparently they're difficult to train. I sort of wouldn't really. I mean, you've met Velma, haven't you, Seann? I sort of wouldn't think that necessarily. I think they're probably quite different. I mean, the fact is, I haven't experienced any other dog, so for me, she probably feels quite normal. I mean, apparently, one of the ways that they judge how intelligent a dog is how much it does what you say, and I would really, really dispute that, as with kids, as with people.
Yeah, I agree, Monica. We've had Dachshunds in the past, and I always said to Jane, my wife, that they're not so much obedient as that they'll listen to you, and if they think what you're asking is a good idea, they'll go along with it. They really do think about it, and then it sounds like Velma is a bit like that.
Yeah, Velma's like that. Like, she's not necessarily food motivated, which I think, like, if you've got something like a Labrador, maybe that's a bit easier to train. She's sort of curiosity motivated, which like with your dogs, I think she'll sort of go, yeah, I can hear that you want me over there, but what I'm doing is kind of more interesting now. So but yes, it got to that point, and I thought, okay, well, I could get a different dog. And then I thought, well, if I get a different dog and then wait for that to die and get a Siberian Husky, A, it's not really fair to that dog. And B, I'm going to be too old to keep up with a Siberian Husky. So I thought, you know, it's now or never, and that's what I wanted, so I went for it.
So just to skip back a second, I want to know, first of all, because I mean, it sounds like, you know, you ended up with Velma as a result of this childhood experience, which is, it's an overused word, but like a trauma really for you as a small child. I can imagine that was a real landmark event in your childhood, that moment.
When you said trauma, I sort of laughed, but actually, I think it's not too big a word, because it really was my first loss, and Igor was gone, and he was also my siblings. You know, the next one up's kind of 5 years older than me, so Igor was really, really who I hung out with.
A real friend, And what happened to Igor instead of being with you? Did you know?
I'm not sure whether he stayed in the UK and they found an owner for him, or I know that Carol and David, they used to do sort of sledding with Huskies, you know, they used to pull Carol along, so maybe they took all of them back, I'm not sure, but it's quite a trip for them, isn't it?
And so it took all those years for you to happen to be doing the play in Chichester with your friend, for her to unpack it all for you and kind of get you to that place.
I think that was it. I also think that I was doing Doubt by John Patrick de Chandley, which is, and the nun in it, one of the, well, they're all main roles because it's four-hander, but she's sort of having an existential crisis. So quite a lot of the time I find myself either going through what the character's gone through just before or at the same time. So I think maybe Velma was my midlife crisis as well.
Yeah.
It's quite optimistic to say midlife, actually, because I'm probably too old for it.
Now, Bill, I've got here, you've said that dogs can be a lifeline.
Yeah.
Tell us why you think dogs are so important.
Well, I think the thing is that, as you can hear, they are amazing companions, and they not only are just, you know, great companions in the house, and they're make great pets, but people that own dogs tend to get out more. You've got to walk them in all winds and weathers. So it means that, you know, generally maybe a level of fitness goes up. Also, it means it's, you know, like for my dad, for example. My dad's 93. He goes out with the dog. he talks to people. People talk to him. It's a kind of it's a way in for a bit of socialisation.
Yeah.
So I think there's so much more to owning a dog than just, the basics. I think it gives people a way to talk to people. It gives people a way to get out of the house. And of course, there's all sorts of, as you probably know, as you're doing this podcast, all the physiological benefits of having a dog. You stroke a dog, your heart rate goes down.
Yes.
It's good for your mental health, physical health.
Yes.
And you had dogs all your life? You grown up with dogs?
I grew up with dogs, Well, since I was a kid, we've always had a dog in the house. We had a West Island Terrier when I was a kid. And then gradually over the years, we've had more and more dogs. At one point, we had 5 dogs, sort of all rescues, various different hues, sizes.
How did you handle 5 dogs?
5 dogs. Well, it was mayhem, but it was fun, And there was they all had their own character. They all had their own personality. And they were great. They're fantastic companions. They were brilliant.
Absolutely.
So who have you got at the moment?
At the moment,
dog-wise, I mean, if you want to go deeper, I don't mind.
Yes, well, my wife's here. So that's what you mean.
Yeah, you got some support.
I've got one. I've got a human. I've got 2 humans. The son. No, we've got 2 Belgian Malinois Husky cross at the moment.
Oh my word!
Which are they're wonderful dogs, beautiful dogs, but big dogs need a lot of exercise.
Do they get on?
They do get. Well, they're brother and sister.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
lovely.
they're siblings. Yeah. So they get on great, and they're fantastic. Wonderful sort of companions. But also they're just I don't know. They're really active dogs. They love each other. You know what I mean?
Nice.
It's wonderful to see.
Yeah, that is really sweet. I remember a few years ago you had a chihuahua that went missing.
Oh,
what happened there?
Pablo.
Yeah, Pablo.
That's right. That was one of the few times you messaged me.
Yeah. Well, I care about you as well, but the dog really got to me.
Probably the only time you've texted me in about 20 years. But
well,
dogs brought us together.
They did. They
no,
did. No,
what happened was, my wife's sister had a chihuahua called Pablo, and he got out. And sometimes dogs do. I'm sure everyone will know here. Some dogs, if the door's open, they're bolters. They see it, they go, oh, and he was off. Anyway, so he ran off, and when we couldn't find him, he disappeared, and it was everyone was very fraught, and it was sort of like we put some signs up, we couldn't find him. Anyway, but
signs up on the trees.
On trees, we put the
old
photograph,
school.
old
missing,
missing. Have you seen?
Was there a
Pablo?
reward?
No. The reward was a sense of well-being.
But it wasn't your dog, in fairness.
Well, that wasn't my dog, no, exactly. So, no, the thing was, what was funny about it was that eventually they said, everyone, the whole family said, are you going to put something on social media about this? And I said, I don't tend to do that as a rule. I try not to, make it personal. But they go, Pablo, come on, Pablo's missing. And Jack's messaging me, have you found Pablo yet? So I'm thinking, blimey, this is getting a big story now. So what I did was I put a tweet out as it was then. I said, well, family dog, much love, Pablo. Here's a few photos. If you know anything, just, let me know. Anyway, so I was in New Zealand on tour at the time, and I was doing I was about to do a stand-up tour, and I was on a sort of topical news show called The Project, and we're about to go on air, and everyone on the panel said, have you found Pablo? How's Pablo? What's happened to Pablo? I was going, what about my tour? What about the stuff? I've got tickets to sell in Dunedin. Never mind about a bloody chihuahua. Anyway, God bless. This tweet turned into a Metro paper double spread news story, and someone recognised the dog and brought him back. And someone had just picked him up off the street, thought he was a stray, and had been looking after him. And then they saw the story, and they brought him home. Yeah. It was a lovely, happy ending.
I think it just, I don't know.
So there you...
I question these people who find a dog and think, I better take it home, keep it locked in my flat for the next 4 weeks.
What I thought what happened was somebody who'd picked up the dog and taken it home thought, I'm going to keep this dog. then they'd see in the paper in the metro, somebody gone, oh, that looks like the one that you've just got. And they've just gone, oh my God, that's Bill Bailey's dog. I better take it back. What was worrying, though, they knew where I lived.
Pablo talked. Yeah. But I know as well, you're kind of famous. You're knowledgeable about animals. There's no question about that. I mean, but you've got loads of other animals, haven't you? A menagerie.
Well, we've so over the years we've been a kind of rescue centre for a lot of animals. It started small, as all these things always do. You know, somebody said, "Can you look after this guinea pig?" And we go, "Oh, all right." And what about this rabbit? Yeah, okay. What about this dog? Yeah, couple of cats. And then it snowballs into parrots and parakeets, and then it became armadillos, and then it was ducks and chickens and lizards and Lord knows what. So eventually we did have a sort of a lot of these animals just didn't have a home, and of course the word gets out once people know that you're a soft touch. You know, there's people will go, Bill to look after that. And so we would get offered lots of animals. Some bloke turned up at the door to peacock once, which was very strange. And I said, where did you get that? And he went, found it.
So, but when you're on the road, you're very busy touring and all this. Who looks after all the animals?
We just put them all in a big glass dome with lots of food, and it's a bit like Thunderdome. No, we had lots of wonderful people that helped out, some volunteers, people that used to work for London Zoo, people that love animals, and they'll come in and look after them and feed them and so on.
How do you kind of... I don't know if look after them is the right phrase, but with a dog, the way you might care for a dog, you take the dog for a walk, you'll have a cuddle with the dog. How do you make that relationship, I suppose, is what I'm talking about. How do you make a connection with those animals?
Lizards are not that sort of affectionate, you know? Yeah. I mean, they just tend to sort of look at you like, well, they put the food there. All right, that's it. But, what we did was, and what we have done, we've started to sort of wind it down a bit now, but what we do is we collect a lot of data. We got enormous amounts of information about... Particularly, we were the first people to breed 3-banded armadillos in Britain. I mean, that's not nothing. See, look at the level of interest in that. Yeah. It's like
4 people clapping.
4 people going, what? No, but
are they popular pets?
Not really, no. But the thing about it was we collected a lot of data about it, and all of that data fed into... a sort of European-wide kind of database about generally best practice in looking after animals and things like that. So what happened was what started out as just a few animals that we looked after turned into quite a big operation that then we collected all this data and we fed it back into zoos and animal collections. So we've contributed a lot in the management and the sort of the best practices of looking after animals. So that was the purpose of it in the end.
Wow. That's... Well done.
Cheers.
Well done.
That's incredible.
Good to see you, Chesney. And in the background, there's Mischief, who you describe as part gremlin, part Ewok, and part bat, part potato. Is that right?
Yeah, that's actually my daughter's description. And now that you've met him, you understand what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, it's like, absolutely sweet. Lovely face. What's the origin of Mischief? Where do you get Mischief?
So Mischief came, this was like 8 years ago. He's 10 now. So 8 years ago, I was living in LA and I was taking my boy, who at the time was 11, to his baseball. I was so American. And so we were going to Little League. And and I don't know if you guys know LA at all, but there's an intersection. That's another American thing. I'm suddenly all American. So it's by Universal Studios and on Lancashire Boulevard, massive like 5-lane intersection.
Yeah. Right.
And we got there and I was about to turn left towards where his baseball was. And it's just me and Indy in the car. And this little dog was like running in between cars. And so my son was like, Daddy, save the doggy, Daddy, save the doggy. So I was like, yes. Okay. So I put the brakes on, jumped out the car. And of course I was just like that crazy LA dude.
Yeah, this is very filmic.
And I was like, stop it. I was doing this. And of course, the idiots in LA, going around me and hooting their horns. Like I'm just a madman in the street, And eventually managed to kind of scare him away. I mean, I was so frightened that this little pooch was going to get squished in front of my son as well, of all things. And so I managed to kind of shuffle him off to the side, and he went into this car park. I jumped back in the car and pulled it over to the car park. And then I saw him and he went underneath a fence. So it was now a mission, right? So me and Indy were I parked the car up and I was running around. So come on, let's go this way. So we're running around. We've got to the other side of the fence. And then, so I'm trying to paint the picture now. I've got this grass verge on the left, then another road, and then the park where he was going to do his baseball. So I'm running along, following this little fluff bucket along the green verge. And eventually we got to a little bit where he was kind of cornered between these two fences, and he kept threatening to run off, but he was really scared, and he was every time I got near him. And then suddenly this bloke came up on a motorbike who looked like a Hell's Angel or something, looked like Hulk Hogan, and he stopped the car and he goes, "What's going on, brother? How can I help you?" And he had a big handlebar moustache and a bandana, everything, big old muscles and tattoos everywhere. And I was like, "Well, we're just trying to save this little dog." And he's like, "Let me help you." So he started to go near the dog, but every time he went near or I went near, the dog was like, "Rrr." And I was thinking, rabies, I was I was a bit worried about all sorts of things, and he was really malnutrition. He looked like he smell, you could almost see the smell, But then my boy, who was 11 at the time, he went over to the dog, and he wasn't doing that kind of scared thing. And I thought, oh, hang on a minute. So I said to Hulk, let's back off and let the boy do it. So Indy went down. I said, just stand next to him, and he was looking at him because he's got these big bulbous eyes. He was looking at him like, "Rrr." So I was a bit worried, but I said, well, just go down very gently, Indy, go down slowly. And so he started going down, and he put his hand out towards him, and his head turned like that, and then he just went boop on his back, paws in the air, total submission. And he tickled his belly.
What?
And I had the dog lead because we had another dog at the time. Yeah. I just plonked it on him, and he got up, trotted off, got in the car. That was it. And then my boy said, "His name is Mischief." I was like, "Yes, it is."
Good name.
Well, that is a fantastic story. What's an opener? That's wonderful.
I feel like saying, do you have a lot of weird dreams?
I know.
It's a strange one. The motorcyclist turning up like that. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's good little extra touch, that one.
Yeah, it's great. So you took Mischief to the vet and everything, getting checked out, all those bits and pieces.
Took him to the vet, and he didn't have any tags or anything. And he really was smelly, and he really was he was properly, hadn't been fed properly. He had a little lump in his rib where he's obviously been kicked or something. It's still sticking out. It's still there now. So he obviously been through some in his life. And we put up posters though, around the area, because you don't want to. It's a family member right there, of course, for somebody. There's a lot of homeless in that park, so I thought maybe, and I knew the police had been through there that morning. I thought maybe someone had been arrested, left his dog behind. Something like that. Yeah. But the vet said he was probably 2 years old by his teeth. They could tell by the teeth.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there we go. And now he's part of the family.
That's really a great story. So who's the other dog? Is it Finn? Am I right?
Yeah, I've got him here. Finny, come here, Finn.
It's great.
So Finn is the most cute. He's like the opposite to Mischief, who is so ugly he's pretty.
Yes.
This one is look, he is gorgeous.
Yes.
He's massive.
He's massive. No, he is huge. He's not. He thinks he's a lap dog. He thinks he's a lap dog, but he's not. But he's lovely.
Yeah. And is he American as well?
Yeah. He's originally from Texas.
Oh right.
so Philip, hang on, got caught on my cardigan. There you go, man. Go on. You can go back to where you were.
I thought he was just hugging you.
No, he got caught. So I got him. His story with him is this was in lockdown. Well, we were in LA as well, and we got to know this lady who worked at a ranch that owned dogs and other animals for film and TV.
Yeah.
And that was their business model. And, you know, the dogs would go out and work on film and commercials and stuff like that. And because there was no business around at the time, no productions or anything, they decided to change their business model and rehome the animals on the proviso that he is made available when he gets a job. So he has an agent in LA. I didn't. And now and again, we'd get the call and we say, "Can we collect Finn? Because he's got a job. He's doing a Chewy's commercial." Like, yeah, great. And he'd go off. He loves them, the girls, because he remembers them from before. So he'd go off trotting away, and he'd come back totally groomed and lovely, and get a couple $100 to feed him for the month. So he kept his, end of the bargain.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Martin. Who's that?
I know that you've got 5 dogs, Martin, at the moment.
5 until a couple of weeks ago. Unfortunately, we lost Laura, who was a retired guide dog we'd had come to live with us for the last couple of years.
Oh, bless. Had a lovely couple of years, though, I'm sure. So,
yeah.
Who is that you just held up?
That's Murray.
That's Murray. So, I mean, you're more of a dog fanatic than enthusiast, really, aren't you? To have that many is really quite something.
It's Nelly.
Yeah. So talk us through how you ended up with so many dogs. Anyway, what's been going on?
What are we up to? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Why? That's a good question. I never thought to ask. Why have we done this to ourselves? We started with one, Mary, that we had before our daughter was born. And then daughters are okay.
Yeah.
And then Mary was very special, and she had all kinds of problems with her hips and knees when she was tiny and had lots of surgery. So she became sort of super special and slept between our pillows. And then when we moved, then we thought it would be nice to get another little Cocker Spaniel for Mary, but that went disastrously wrong. She didn't like her. They never bonded, and they fought horrendously to the extent that actually we had to separate. We had to have Tina go and live elsewhere, which was heartbreaking because it was my daughter's dog.
Yeah.
And then poor old Mary died whilst we were away. And on the way back from the airport, we picked up Tina from my in-laws. And just to see the relief on my daughter's face, I realised what a sacrifice she'd made in, having to let the other one go. But it was too horrendous, and we kept getting bitten in the crossfire. Anyway, that's well behind us. And then we were looking for another dog, Heidi May. She's over there. She's and we bred from her. We had a litter of 7. And we kept one, Bob Jackson, who's there now. But Heidi, after the litter, went blind, and now Bob's pretty much blind. So it's like a zoo. 2 blind cockers.
Yes.
And then John and Murray. I've got Murray's brother, John. John, come.
Are there any difficulties that come with having blind dogs? Especially...
Well, we're okay. We're well placed here because our house is in the middle of our farmland. And we'd made a track already as I drive a carriage, and it's very hilly here. So we'd sort of cut a 3.5K track. So they can tell if they're on it or they're off it. So we don't have to walk them on leads or anything. We're okay for blind dogs. But with Bob Jackson, it was really sad. Heidi went blind. She's epileptic as well. Went blind very, very slowly. And then Bob, we lost 2 terriers last year. Jim, who was kind of, a Parsons Jack Russell like Murray and John. But we knew that was coming. He had liver cancer, and he was 14. And, we were able to deal with that before he got too sore or anything, and that was okay. Then 2 weeks later, we had this little freak, chihuahua, Penny, and then she turned out she had a tumour behind her eye, so she was put down. And in 2 weeks, and Bob would get a game out of both of those dogs, and he lost his buddies and he lost his sight, and you could just sort of see him minding. And then we introduced these 2, which was in so many ways ruinous. And poor Bob was a bit overwhelmed. But now he'll get Murray here. He'll get a game out of Murray.
So it's
good.
I know that you're a Dogs Trust ambassador, aren't you, Martin?
Yes, that's recent. Yes,
but it sounds like you actually bring more dogs home than you actually help at the trust. Is that true? I mean,
have you been to one of their centres?
No, I dare not, because I think I would find it very hard not to leave them all there.
It's like Amsterdam. They're all in their little windows with a bed and some toys.
That's a bizarre.
And me and Jack have no idea. I have no idea. I don't understand the reference.
Okay, the Reaper Barn in Hamburg. If you walk down there, they're just in their windows with a toy. Look what I can do with this bear. It's so lovely.
What do you do for the Dogs Trust? Are you going out giving talks or?
I'm not giving talks. I don't know anything. But we had for 10 years. We had a fair. Which was a fun fair, trade stand, stalls, dog and pony show, and a heavy horse show on the land. And we'd always have the Dogs Trust because when Emily was little, it's such a brilliant charity because it's a crowded marketplace, isn't it? But if you adopt a dog, it sends you a Valentine's card, Christmas card. It just stays in touch, and they keep you, which is a really clever way of just keeping their presence in your mind.
Yes.
But also, why not give something back to your donor? If it's just a little Valentine's card.
Well, quite. I mean, we've all done. I was a friend of Winchester Cathedral for a while, and I gave up because I never got a card from that place. Nothing. This is a one-way ticket. I'm not doing it anymore. I felt used, actually. So, as a child, were you very animal oriented? Did you have a dog? We
did. We had. It was initially my sister's dog. My dad was quite a cat man, but he died when I was quite young. But we had cats that were sort of given because they were sort of what was left of him in a way. So they were kind of had an elevated status that, frankly, I don't think they deserve. But we have two cats here anyway. But then we got a little dog, Jemima, who, I did quite. And she was a little white dog, and I do like these little white dogs. Murray could model for the Dogs Trust logo, couldn't he?
Oh, he's a gorgeous
Very
dog,
sweet.
Murray. Funny enough, on my desk I've got. I'll show you. I don't know why I got this, but I've had this for ages, which is his master's voice.
Oh yeah.
I was given that years ago, and he just stays on my desk. But he reminds me of Murray. There, they're very similar. Although, of course, yours is real and mine is made of plaster. But I do have a real dog as well.
There are advantages to yours.
Well, that's it for Oh My Dog New Year Best of episode. Some brilliant highlights. I'm sure you'll agree. I hope you do. We'll be back next week.
Yes, and don't forget, you can email us at hello@omdpod.com and find us on Instagram and YouTube at omdpod. You can sign up for our newsletter. The link is in the episode description on your phone now.
And please do give us a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. And remember, a dog is for life, not just for podcasts. I suppose it remains for us all to say a very happy new year to all our listeners, doesn't it?
Yeah, happy new year.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. You had to think about that, didn't you, Sean?
No. Well, I was happy new year to them, but also happy new year to you guys.
Oh, well done. And to Mildred and to Juniper and to all the dogs
and
out
Dolly.
there. Oh, thank you. And to all of you and all your dogs listening, happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
God.
Right, I don't want to put this in the script because I wanted to surprise you.
Oh, great.
But basically, we've
Right.
heard from our friend Phoebe Gander. And do you remember that Sean asked for her to put Dolly as an old lady with Jack in a photo, get AI to do this for us?
Yes, yeah.
So this has happened. And Jack, I will apologise in advance.
This
Oh,
is AI.
no. What have I done now?
So
Are you ready?
we're about
Are you
to
ready
see
for
an
this?
AI image of Jack, I think, having a cuddle. That is a photo of Jack having a nice little cuddle with Dolly. If Dolly
as
was
a human,
a human,
yes,
both fully clothed, I might add.
I mean, it's not the most flattering of Jack. So Phoebe went back and said, "Can you make it look like Jack D a bit more, please?"
Yes.
So here we go.
I've got to tell you, where's my hand? What's that doing? Oh, I can't believe this.
That is some worrying hand placement.
It is a bit. Yeah.
Dolly looks smitten.
Honestly, officer, she just wanted a photo taken. I don't know. I tell you, I got to say though, I would watch that sitcom, wouldn't you?